Well, everybody, we have a lot to talk about. Hi everyone, it's me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alanna and I'm a Canadian, but I have been living here in the UK for the last 6 years. My YouTube audience is about 90% British, so you guys are only too well aware that recently the Queen passed away. We've had non-stop coverage, we've had a live broadcasted funeral. There's just been a lot, and even if you are not British, you're probably aware of it too. We have like a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. How do I even begin? Okay, well, I'm just gonna talk. I'm just gonna sit here and talk, and hopefully it makes sense. I think a lot of people were shocked of the Queen's passing, not because she was 96, but because she has been there. She's always been there. And I think a lot of people, subconsciously sort of saw her as stability, as she's just been there always. She was on the throne. So we're not even talking about her life. She has been in power my entire life. She was in power for my mom's life. She was in power for longer than my own father was ever alive. So it's been a long time. As someone who, I always really like taking history in school, I feel like I am living through a textbook right now. I feel like I'm living history right now. So many people know, of course, that Queen Elizabeth II was the longest reigning British monarch, but, and I wrote this down so I wouldn't get it wrong, I didn't realize that she is the longest recorded of any female head of state in history, and the second longest verified reign of any sovereign in history. So to say that she has been queen for a long time, I feel like doesn't even really do it justice. And obviously, I have never lived through anything like this. It is all new to everybody. It's quite a moment in history, and I kind of wanted to talk about, what's been happening, but also what is going to happen and maybe what the UK is going to be like. Because whether you are someone who considers themselves a royalist, someone who is, very passionate about the monarchy and the royal family, or you are someone on the other end of the spectrum and you really dislike the monarchy, or you are someone in the middle who simply does not care. I know people throughout that spectrum. Whether you are on one end or the other or in the middle, it doesn't really matter because the UK is going to change. So on a general note, when I found out that the Queen had died, surprised, obviously it's not something that anybody was really anticipating, but very surprised. I decided put my videos out as normal, not to be disrespectful to anyone or to be disrespectful to the Queen, but to simply allow people the option, if they need a little bit of a distraction from this sadness and from this just the sad news, then they could watch my silly little videos. Now, I got quite some hateful messages. Some people were very angry at me for posting videos not about the Queen. Some people called me all sorts of colorful names. Some people were actually upset that I posted videos at all and thought that I should not post for what they call the 10 days of mourning. At the end of the day, I did what I thought was right. I did what I wanted to do for my own channel. And you can't please everybody. But I did get some very thoughtful messages from people who, on the flip side, were very happy that I posted just regular content as, a break from the funeral coverage. So please know that I read your comment and I appreciate it, and it really means a lot. And now I wanted to, sit and talk about it. I tried to give a little bit of a break from everything from the funeral to now, so we can kind of have some breathing room because it was really overwhelming. So here we are. So with all of that personal stuff out of the way, the last couple of days, the last couple of weeks, I've been reflecting on how are things going to change? Because again, whether you are a royalist or the opposite, the UK is going to change, and I've never lived through a change like this before. And that's kind of what I've been thinking about and kind of what I wanted to chat with you guys. So first off, I don't know about you guys, but I saw a proclamation happen, a proclamation in town. I didn't know what was happening. I've never seen anything like that, obviously. It was a new experience, but essentially, I think it was the mayor came out in like traditional clothing and spoke about the Queen's passing and spoke about the transition to our new king. And then everyone sang God Save the King. I've never even heard that version of the song before, of course, because I've not been alive for it. So that was it felt like living history. It felt like something I would read about in a textbook, and it was happening right in front of me in town. It was just, I don't even know how to describe some of the stuff. Of course, I don't mean any of this to be disrespectful. Of course not. This is just my experience of history, really. And how do you even put it into words? Now, how I've been reflecting on how day-to-day life is going to change. One of the things that came up quite randomly is that on Patreon, where I post like bonus videos and I have like exclusive stuff there. One of the things I do is I send out postcards every month to my top tier. So as I am finishing up my postcards, I am popping on all of the stamps. And I actually just bought a ton of stamps the other day. I got some international people on Patreon. They get international stamps. I have a whole row, a whole pack of my first class stamps, and it's the Queen's face. And it's not something that I ever really thought about. I mean, they're just stamps. These are what stamps look like. But as I was unwrapping these, because I literally just bought them, I realized like, these are gonna change. And this is something that is so, I don't know, recognizable. It's one of those things that you don't even really process that it is the Queen, because these are just what stamps always looked like. So of course, Royal Mail is gonna have to change these. I don't know how that process goes about. I'm sure these stamps will be like legitimate up until a certain point. They're gonna have to set timelines maybe. I'm not really sure. Maybe you bring old stamps in and you get the new stamps back. I don't know. It's just, I know this is kind of silly, but this is the one that kind of hit me. I was like, wow, life here is going to change, and it changes with the simple things. So after I add all my stamps to my postcards, what do? Well, I walk to a post box, and those have Queen Elizabeth's name on them too. So then I was thinking, what happens with post boxes? But I read online that potentially they should all stay as normal. It's not like her name is sort of added like on to a post box. It is part of the design. It's part of like the shape. So what I read online was that those should stay as normal, and when we get new post boxes, those will then have King Charles's name, or what's the thing called? It's not the name, the royal cipher. That's it. So what I was reading online was that the royal cipher is particular to that monarch, right? So we have a ton of post boxes that have ER, which is Queen Elizabeth's cipher. Then we will have new post boxes when I guess they are made or when they are needed, which will have King Charles's royal cipher. What I didn't know was apparently there are some post boxes, and I don't know if you have one near you perhaps, or one that you've used, that still have King George's royal cipher, and that is GR from his reign. So I guess we just leave the post boxes as is. New ones will get King Charles. And I guess you carry on like that. Another thing that I was thinking about was a while back I did a video on royal warrants, or like royal seal is what I call it. But it's basically when a product or service is used by the royal family, they can be granted this royal warrant, and it's on their packaging, and it basically shows that the royal family uses this product or service. So then I was thinking about like, what happens to all of those? So apparently the Queen's royal warrant currently applies to more than 600 businesses or products that have a history of supplying the royal household. 600. After the death of the Queen, they stand to lose their status unless they are granted a new warrant by King Charles or another member of the royal family who becomes a grantor. And this may not happen quickly. When Prince Philip died, his royal warrant holders were given a 2-year period of grace. So I guess it's kind of like up in the air for now. But when it comes to like everyday products that you have maybe in your cupboard or in your fridge that have this royal warrant, those may all change depending on whether they can get a new one or not. And of course, a really massive, big change undertaking that I don't even know how they're going to do it comes down to money. So personally, I don't really buy things with cash anymore. I don't often have cash, but we do have this. This is our little money jar. So whenever you have change or bills, because I don't normally carry it around with me, we just sort of plop it in here. This, of course, has the Queen's profile on all of it. So naturally, the currency is going to have to change. I don't even know how they're going to attempt to do that. I've never seen this happen before. I don't know how long it's going to take. I can only imagine how difficult it will be to plan. So currently there are 4.5 billion sterling banknotes in circulation currently. And of course, all of those will have the Queen on them. 4.5 billion banknotes. So the UK changed over to these synthetic bills. Canada is the same. I don't know if it's the exact same material, but it's sort of like that plasticky feeling. So Canadian money is similar. Canadian money is a separate issue because we do have the Queen on some of them. But apparently when the UK was transferring over the 50-pound notes from the old paper money to this synthetic version, apparently the process of recall and replacement took the Bank of England 16 months. So over 1 year just to do the 50s. I don't know how we're going to do all of it. And those are just some of the like everyday changes that I was thinking about, reflecting on, and things that will change for just like a regular person's life. I can't even begin to know or anticipate all of the changes that we're going to see. Change can be really scary, and it feels like such a big upheaval. I think a lot of people are feeling that uncertainty and that just like overwhelming change. So really, I hope you guys are doing okay. I've never lived through a moment in history like this. I've never lived through such a big change like this, and we can only wonder what the future will be like.